Hi, today we're doing chocolate raspberry layer bars. I actually found this recipe in a little flyer, one of those little recipe flyers, while I was in the waiting room at my doctor's office. In a medium-sized bowl, you're going to put 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup of icing sugar, or confectioner's, also called confectioner's sugar. Then you're going to stir the flour and the sugar together until it's well combined. Then add 1/2 cup of softened butter, that's butter at room temperature, or 1/2 cup of margarine. And you're going to cut that into the flour sugar mixture until you get like a crumbly, coarse crumbly texture. You don't want any big chunks of butter left in there. This is kind of what it should look like when you're just about done, kind of crumbly looking. Then take an 8x8 inch baking dish that's been greased, and I use cooking spray on mine. Dump in the mixture and just pat it down and spread it out so that it's evenly in the bottom of the pan. And then you're going to bake it at 375 degrees for about 15 minutes until it's golden brown. While we're doing that, take 1 cup of white chocolate chips and melt them in the microwave. Then take 4 ounces of cream cheese, put it in a bowl, add 2 tablespoons of light cream or milk. I used milk. And you're going to blend that together with the mixer until it's smooth. And the bowl I'm using is a bit too big here. Then I'm adding the melted white chocolate. That was 1 cup into there. And then just scraping the sides of the bowl down to make sure we get all the little cream cheese bits. And then blend it together until it's smooth. This takes a couple of minutes because you want to make sure the cream cheese is completely incorporated and it's a nice smooth velvety texture. Once the crust is out of the oven and it's golden brown, you're going to spread 1/3 of a cup of raspberry jam on the top of it while it's still warm. Now I'm spreading the raspberry jam on here, and you'll see I went right up to the very edge and touching the edge of the pan. And I even add a little bit extra raspberry jam because I found that there were lots of thin spots on there, but that's up to you. Then add the white chocolate mixture on top of that. And don't do like I'm doing here and dump it right in the middle and then spread it. I recommend that you take it by spoonfuls and put dollops of it on top and then spread it out, because what happens is when you're spreading it out from the center to the edge, it pushes all the raspberry jam up to the edge of the pan. And it was a bit hard to spread because the raspberry jam wanted to blend in with the cream cheese mixture. But I managed to get it done. And then you're going to put that in the refrigerator until it is set, about an hour. Then take 1 cup of chocolate chips and 3 tablespoons of butter and melt it together in the microwave. I forgot to turn the camera on when I blended the chips and the butter, but they are in there. That's 1 cup of chocolate chips and 3 tablespoons of butter melted in the microwave, and then stir it up nicely together. And then pour it over top of the cream cheese layer that's nicely refrigerated now, and when you touch it, it's no longer sticky. It's set. And spread it all the way to the edge of the pan, so that you get a nice even layer of chocolate. And if you want a nice smooth flat surface that's nice and shiny, you just have to give it a good shake and the chocolate will even out on its own and you'll get a nice flat surface. Now the package of white chocolate chips I bought had just a little over a cup in the bag, so I had enough for the recipe plus another 1/4 cup, 1/8 of a cup of white chocolate chips left. So I just put them in a Ziploc bag. I melted them in the microwave, and then I just cut the corner of the bag off. And what I'm going to use this for is a little garnish on top of the square, but you don't have to do this. This is completely optional if you don't want to put it on top there. But since I had some of the chips left over, I thought, why not? So I'm just drizzling it on the top. And then you're going to put this thing into the refrigerator until the chocolate is set, and then you can cut it into bars. This is a super rich, delectable, wonderful dessert. It tastes a little like white chocolate cheesecake in the center with the chocolate layer and the raspberry. Very, very good. They also look nice too. The edge pieces are a little hard to get out, but once you get the first couple of pieces out, the rest of the pieces come out fairly easily. This would be a nice dessert to serve to company. Okay, a note about the raspberry jam layer. This is the pan seen from the side, and you can see how the raspberry jam has gone beside the crust layer and gone actually underneath it along the edges. It's because you put the raspberry jam when the crust is hot. What I recommend is you let the crust cool for a few minutes when it comes out of the oven. So it's okay to put the jam on while the crust is still warm, but not while it is super hot, because it'll melt the jam and pull it underneath the crust. It's still good to eat, but the edge pieces are kind of really sticky and they're not as pretty. So let the crust cool a bit before you put the jam on it, and maybe do not go completely right up to the edge.